This episode, we feature Jamie Gissel with Valor Threat Protection. And this is an episode you're going to want to listen to because he talks all things about safety in public. He gives some really great tips for protecting yourself out there, always staying alert. And especially for us as realtors, it's something that I think we take for granted. But regardless of what you're doing, you need to be alert at all times so that you can defend yourself. God forbid something like that happens. Check it out. Well, welcome. We are joined today with Jamie Gissel with Valor Threat Protection, and this is going to be an awesome episode. We were already kind of talking before we started, and I think what he's going to share is going to be super valuable to everybody listening, no matter what line of work you're in, because it really comes down to safety, protecting yourself. And I mean, I hate to say it in today's world, right? Like that's like we have to live like that.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
We want to, we told you before, we want to hear your story. We want to know, where did you grow up? Where did you come from? And how did you get to be what you're doing today?
Perfect. Yeah. Jamie Gissel. I actually grew up a few miles from here. Grew up in Gilbert. My dad grew up in Gilbert, so we've been in Gilbert for a long, long time.
So you've seen it grow and change?
Seen it grow and change. I used to ride my horses all right over here.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Can't ride them anywhere anymore. My dad was a police officer, so I grew up seeing that. He was a SWAT guy, so I saw that my entire life.
Nice.
And then when I had the chance, I became a police officer and kind of followed his footsteps, and that kind of started me on my path to what I'm doing now.
Did you always know you wanted to be a police officer, or how did that come to be?
I knew it was probably what I was going to do.
Really?
I had other aspirations to do lots of different other things and got hurt playing ball, so I couldn't play ball anymore. So then I went to the police academy.
Okay.
Then
how old were you?
I had just turned 22.
Okay.
So how long were you a police officer?
So I've been on for 20 years. So I'm still
20 years.
currently a police officer.
Still
But yeah, I
going.
just hit my 20 year in April. So 20 years and continuing to hopefully retiring soon. But
And now you're a business owner.
and now I'm a business owner.
Okay,
Well, before we jump into that, though, because we want to hear a little bit more of your personal story. So
Yes.
tell us, you're married. Tell us all about that.
I'm married. I have 6 kids between my wife and I. She has 2 and I have 4. So together we have 3 boys and 3 girls and 4 in high school. So it's busy and it's fun and it's nonstop around our house.
I bet.
Little side note, that's actually how we met because I was coaching my daughter's team, and that year Paisley played, so your daughter and Mallory,
yeah.
Janine's daughter. So
fun.
that was a fun year.
This is an interesting year.
Yeah, a lot of girls that had never played ball before, and we were just talking before we got on camera how it's different coaching boys and girls.
Yeah.
And just that process of learning how not to yell too hard.
Yeah.
But they were fun anyway, so. That's how we met.
So you're a police officer. You also are on SWAT.
Yep.
Talk to us about that. Why did you decide to go that way?
So my dad was a SWAT guy, so I grew up on the SWAT team. I'd go to calls with him, I'd go to trainings with him. Like that was all I knew growing up. And it was a lot of fun to be around those guys. And so when I got in the department, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So as soon as I could, I tested. At that time, you had to be on 3 years. So I just hit my 3-year mark, tested, and got on the team. And I spent almost 16 years on the SWAT team.
Go ahead.
What was your specialty or focus on SWAT?
So I was an entry guy, but I was also our lead breacher. So I was in charge of our breaching program. So I spent a lot of time breaking other people's stuff, blowing up doors, blowing up windows.
Yeah.
Being the first guy to go in?
Being one of the first guys to go in on the entry team.
I want to ask, so in that line of work, you get to see the worst of humanity, right? You are the first responder there when tragedy strikes. And how do you deal with that?
It's tough. I mean, we do see the worst of the worst. We see and have to do some things that most normal people should never have to deal with. I was lucky with my dad, seeing him and how he handled things. He was really good at leaving work at work and then coming home, and he was dad, right? He had his one life as a cop, and then as soon as he would come home, he was just dad. So I had a great role model in that. And then when I became a father, kind of the same thing. I kind of kept work at work and left stuff at home, or left home life at home. But I also, when I got on the SWAT team, going to work was almost a release because I was hanging out with my friends, I was hanging out with my buddies every day. We were training together, we were working out together, and although we did some crazy stuff, we'd always come back together and be together
Yeah.
as brothers.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of, going to work was almost my release from some of the stuff we had to do.
Crazy,
and
right?
see it work. Yeah.
I told you my husband's a firefighter, and I've heard him say the same thing, that even though you go through the hardest stuff with these guys, right? But it's almost because you've done it together, you guys relate and can get it, and then you can just like blow off steam together too.
Different level of bonding, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you said that it was fun to be around the SWAT guys. What was it that made them cool?
They were the SWAT guys.
What's different?
Like,
Yeah.
they were like the elite guys on the department.
They're
So like
bad dudes.
growing up with those guys and seeing they were all in shape, they could all shoot, they were all super nice guys, and they were just fun to be around.
Until it was time not to be nice.
And then they had to flip that switch
Yeah.
and do what they got to do. I think it's funny because a lot of people think that SWAT guys, they're always aggressive and angry. And
Yeah.
if you actually sat in our armored truck while we're going to calls, like we're asking like would you rather questions and telling jokes and having a good time before we get there. But then
You
once
have
we get
to.
there, then
Yeah.
we flip that switch and
That's
it's
cool.
on. So yeah, it's fun.
So can we talk really quick before we go any further?
Yeah.
Because you were telling us before about your wife. How do you feel about sharing that?
Sure.
Okay, because I think that's
It's really good info. Yeah.
So kind of interesting. So we met, I got divorced, and then we met just a short time after that. And we decided to get married in April of 2020.
Oh,
So then
gosh.
COVID hit,
Oh,
right?
man.
COVID hit. We moved our date up from April to March because our venue canceled, and we're like, let's just get married, move in together, get the kids together. So kind of a hectic time to get married and blend 6 kids now that they're all stuck at home. So that was kind of a fun introduction to remarriage and blending a family, but it all worked out great. Our kids are great. Our kids are all close to each other. But then a short time later, we found out that she got diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And
At the age of 35.
Yeah, 35, and she'd had it for a long time. So shortly after that, we had to go out to Florida, had surgery, had 17 tumors removed from her neck, did some radioactive iodine treatment, and now she's doing really, really good.
That's awesome.
How did she discover it?
So it's funny,
lump?
we talked before, she did some bodybuilding, and she had this lump on her neck right here, and she thought that was just a tight muscle. So she used to get it scraped, she used to get it like worked on, and they would massage it, but it was not a tight muscle. It ended up being cancer.
Wow.
She didn't think about it until one day she's looking at her neck and saw another one right here. And so that's when she went and got it checked. She's like, that's weird. This giant one right here is not weird, but that one's weird. So she went and got it checked out, and then tested for cancer.
Interesting.
Wow.
How did you guys handle that diagnosis? That had to, I mean, here you are newly married, right? Like all this amazing things to look forward to, and now you're like, life is kind of thrown upside down.
It was hard. It was hard for a little bit. But we just stayed positive, like, hey, we got this. She's young, she's in shape, she was very healthy other than that.
Yeah.
And so like, we got this.
I love
and stuck together as a family, and just stayed positive the entire time because we knew everything was gonna be okay.
You know, they say that is what the biggest difference is between the people who beat cancer and don't, is their mindset around it, which is so powerful. But I think it probably also put a lot of things in perspective about what's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we actually got closer. We were very close, but it helped us get closer because we realized, hey, this life is short.
For sure.
Yeah.
It can be taken away from us at any second. I could go to work any day and something could happen and I might not come back. So really started us down a path of focusing on us and the kids and making sure that
appreciate things and show gratitude.
Start to think about the things that really mattered in life.
Thanks for sharing that. So take us to today and to Valor Threat Protection.
Cool. So Valor Threat Protection came about 3 years ago. I had been on the SWAT team for a long time. I was transitioning out of the SWAT team and going to our advanced training unit for the department. So now that's where I'm at now, teaching all the police officers how to be better cops. After Uvalde, Texas, the incident where the officers didn't go in, I started thinking about it.
How did you feel about that, by the way?
It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Very hard to watch.
Yeah.
Knowing what should have happened and seeing what happened was very frustrating.
Yeah.
But it kind of changed my mindset to be, I'd been so focused on teaching officers how to respond to those things, but what if they don't respond? Or like all the other active shooter incidents, the majority of the time it's over before they even get there. So how can I help people understand how they can respond to protect themselves during the time in between the violence starts to happen and when law enforcement gets there? That's kind of interesting when you look at some of the statistics. 90% of active shooter incidents are over in 10 minutes or less. 70% are over in 5 minutes or less, and half of them are over in 2 minutes or less. So by the time the officer or the violence happens, someone calls 911, the dispatcher gets the call, they dispatch the police officers,
who hopefully
they respond, who hopefully are close, right? And depending on where you're at in the country, that could be a several minute response. The violence is over. So how can I now take my knowledge and the things that I've learned and help regular people know how to protect themselves? So that's kind of how Valor was born. So then I started doing a bunch of research and then going out and talking to people and teaching people how they can protect themselves.
So who's your ideal client with this business?
Everybody.
Okay.
Really, I love going to businesses and I love going to schools, because businesses, I can get in front of a bunch of people and teach them how to protect themselves. We do lots of different things. So I'll go into a business and I'll teach a basic presentation, my Valor principles, which we can get into in a minute. I'll teach the Valor principles, and then we can go throughout their office and be like, okay, if an active shooter came in here, what can you do? And kind of almost do scenario-based stuff with people to give them ideas. And it doesn't just apply at their office. Now, once they start to understand those principles, they can apply it to whether at the grocery store, at their home, with real estate, like in somebody else's home, like
I think about it all the time when I'm doing an open house. If there's like, I'm by myself and there's a man walking through, I try to be super alert of like staying close to the front door, right? Making sure that I'm not like putting myself in a compromising position. And I think it's one of the things that none of us want to think that something bad like that could happen to us. And the downfall is that unfortunately when something happens, nobody expected that. And so it's almost like you have to prepare in advance for the what if, so that way when that situation arises, you can just go into go mode without trying to figure out at that moment what to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I choose to see the world as in a positive light, and that generally people are good, but that doesn't mean there are not bad people that intend to do harm. So you have to be prepared. The Boy Scouts motto, we joke about it, right? But you be prepared. So I think about it all the time. Like we were talking before you got here, like what I do when I go to a gas station, like my process of what I'm looking at. And I'm not even a trained, officer or military or anything like that. Just thinking about, okay, how can I be more observant?
Yeah, it's interesting when I see the world differently because I'm a police officer, right? And that's what I've done my entire life. And the little things that I think about, people usually don't think about or prepare for. And that was a big thing when my wife came into when we got married. I had already been a cop for 17 or 15 years on the SWAT team for a long time. She had a mindset switch to now see the world as I see it, right? Because I'm always preparing, looking, putting my back towards different things and looking at those things. And she started getting a sense of that. And now she does it as well too. And it's interesting that you talk about preparation, because like the motto of my company, the tagline I put out is preparation breeds courage, right? It's not being paranoid, but if you prepare yourself on the front end, you will be courageous when it happens. And that's what Valor actually means, is courage in battle.
Love it.
So if you can be prepared and prepare yourself on the front end, even if it's just little things like having a mindset, doing some visualization exercises on what you would do if someone walked in right now in this office.
Yes.
Where would you go?
Yeah.
What if he's coming from the back door? Now what do I do? Because now the situation changes.
Yeah.
So even just those little visualization things can help you prepare for it.
I was telling the girls, and I had mentioned I had listened to this podcast earlier, and one of the things that he said that's actually so easy for us to do, but it's really powerful, is just be super alert. So many of us are super distracted and on our phones, head down, have no idea what's happening around us. And that's what someone that wants to do harm is going to look for, is the ones that aren't paying attention. But if you just show up just with your presence of like, hey, I know what's going on, I'm totally alert, that can like keep bad things away, right?
Exactly. They actually did a study with a bunch of prisoners, like high level risk prisoners, very violent felons. and they showed them all the same video of people walking around, and they said, which one would be your victim? And they all almost unanimously picked the same people, and they asked why. Well, this one looks like a victim. They're not paying attention. They have their head down. They look frightened.
Yes.
These ones are looking people in the eye as they walk by,
Yes.
right? These people are aware of what's going on around them. They're not buried in their phone. They don't have their earbuds in.
Yeah.
Like they are looking like a survivor, not a victim.
Yes,
Well,
I
when we-
love that. That's like an easy thing that all of us can do,
Yeah,
right?
sure. I remember when we moved here, 2013, Gilbert had just been named the second safest city in the nation with over 200,000 people. Chandler was number 7. And I tell my kids this all the time. We live in almost a little bubble of safety, right? But if I'm a bad guy, I'm going to go to a place where they're non-assuming, they're not expecting it, they're not prepared, they're distracted. So it's here too, right?
It's
and you've
here.
got all kinds of experiences where you can share about what happens right around this area that's relatively safe.
Yeah, my agency, it's one of the busiest, we were one of the busiest SWAT teams in the country. And it's right here.
Right.
Violence is happening all around us. We just don't know it.
Yeah.
And don't pay attention to it a lot of the times because we kind of are living in our own little bubble. And that's good to an extent, but it's also a hindrance when when violence does start to creep in. Like, what can I look for to prepare myself to be like, that guy doesn't look right. I'm going to go around this way instead of cut this way, right?
So I kind of want to take it in a certain direction because one of the things like with the Gilbert Goons and all of that, we're hearing a lot, and I've been hearing this starting to kind of come up again. Like girls have been doing this over in the Santan Village In-N-Out parking lot. What would you say to like maybe high schoolers or youth? Like what are some tips? And maybe this kind of goes into kind of what you stand for at Valor. But like what are some things that they can do to show up better so that that stuff doesn't happen to them?
I think stay in a group.
Yeah.
Right? Be with those friends, stay close.
Yeah.
And teach them how to be aware. Teach them what to look for. And if they start to understand what to look for when they're looking for violence potential, the pre-event indicators, they can see, hey, that guy doesn't look right. And it's okay. I think in society today, we've almost got this mentality that we can't offend people, right? And especially as girls, and I tell my girls this all the time, like, it's okay to offend somebody. If someone makes you uncomfortable, leave.
Yep.
Right? You don't have to be a friend to them. If they're making you not feel right, get away.
Yeah, that
We're both
intuition.
shaking our heads,
Yes.
hard.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't have to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
Yes.
Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love that.
It's a tough, like double-edged sword to be Christ-like, right? And then but also be safe.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I think especially for young women.
But I think that like the gut and the intuition is so true. So many of us, because what you said, oh, we don't want to be mean or we don't want to offend anybody. And so then you compromise on that. And then you always hear this afterwards, I knew, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, listen to that. That's good.
Yeah. If something's telling you it's not right, it's not right. I tell that to my officers all the time. If you're searching a building and something's not right, let's come back, let's fix it, let's make a new plan, right? Because going back to the preparation, if I can prepare myself on the front end, it doesn't feel right, cool. Now I can go back, take a step back and make a new plan of what I want to do, plan of attack, even if I'm a teenage girl, and then go a different route.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you had mentioned kind of some principles that you have. Can you share those with us?
So when I started coming up with my company and what I wanted to teach, the run, hide, fight principles have been around for a long time.
Can you say that again? Run.
The run, hide, fight.
Okay.
Okay, you guys heard of those before?
Run if you
Run,
can.
hide, and
if
fight,
you can't
yes.
run, and
Yeah.
fight if the other two aren't options.
But what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
And what does running actually mean? Do I run to the gunfire? Do I run away from it? Where am I supposed to go? So I took the basic concept of run, hide, fight, and I turned it into the Valor principles. So Valor is actually an acronym of how to run, hide, fight.
Cool.
So V is verify the threat. So it goes back to kind of what doesn't feel right, right? What doesn't feel right now?
You hear a gunshot.
If I hear a gunshot, is it a gunshot?
Right.
Is it a car backfiring in the
Right.
parking lot? Where's it coming from?
I've been in that situation before. I've heard, I thought it was a car. And
Yeah.
It wasn't a car. It was a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. What is it? Where's it coming from? Where am I in relation to that? And what are my options? Right? So the verify, also take a deep breath, right? Because when that violence hits, when that fear hits you, you go to fight or flight mode, right? Take a deep breath, figure out exactly what you need to do right now. Because most people, they either do the wrong thing or they do nothing.
Yeah.
And doing nothing is not an option.
Right.
Right? But if you can have an idea of some things to do, that's what that verify stage is for. What are my options now? Where can I run? Where can I hide? And where can I fight, right? If I need to do it, right? So that's V, that's verify. A, avoid the danger. So instead of run, how do I avoid it, right? Can I go out a window? Do I have to just run out this door and go that way? No, I can go out a window and escape the danger that way. Where do I run to? Do I run to my nearest building? Do I run to go ask somebody for help? Is my only option to go to the next room in front of me and then hide from there, right? Do I just keep running? So we talk about that, the why behind the run part. So the avoid the danger. L, lock down a barricade. So instead of hide, let's proactively defend ourselves. Let's go into a room, let's lock it. Let's
make it hard to get to.
Make it harder for this guy to get to. Because when you think about what the goal of an active killer is, or anybody with violence, they want to do as much damage as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. So if I can put barriers in between, they're going to go to something else, right? So I teach people how to actually barricade a door, what to use, what's going to be good. And then where to stand once you're there, right? Where does the door swing open? Except for the door swings open this way and I'm standing right here, that could be a bad thing. So put yourself in a position when you're in the room that's going to be advantageous for you.
Yeah.
Then the O, observe and report. What are you hearing? What's going on now? Now that you've ran, now that you've locked down, what's going on? Observe and then report it to 911. Call 911, tell the officers what you're hearing, what you're seeing, who the bad guy is, where he's at, give them as much detail as possible. And then R is the last step, respond with violence. If violence is the answer, it's the only answer. So if you have to be violent, do it. And what do you do it with? You may not have a gun, but do you have a pen? Do you have a chair? Do you have a lamp, a stapler, right? Do you have, everybody's got these giant Stanley cups. You can do some major damage with that, right? So what can you use to be violent to this person? So that's kind of the principles of Valor. It's the run, hide, fight, but the actual how to.
Thank you for watching the episode. You know, our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you. Yeah, I love that.
Super cool.
It reminds me, I don't know if you guys saw this, there was a case recently where a guy was trying to kidnap a teenager and they have it all on video because there was like a parking lot camera and you see her just losing her mind, screaming and fighting, and he was trying to push her in the car and she was a teenager and he's a grown man. And just by her acting that, he finally just let her go and just he left. And it's like, wow, that's all, she didn't have any other, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think so many times you hear people that are just afraid to do anything and so then they don't. But that's again where I think knowing ahead of time what to do is so helpful. God forbid you're in that situation. Yeah.
Just thinking about beforehand, what can I do? And those Valor principles, they don't just apply to an active shooter incident. They apply to everyday life, right? If I'm walking through a parking lot and I see somebody that doesn't look right, okay, verify that. Is that some dude that wants to hurt me? Are they just limping because they look weird, have an injury? What's going on? And then, cool, where can I go from here? Instead of going down this aisle, I'm gonna go around to this other one. I'm gonna avoid the danger by going around, right? Or, hey, this guy doesn't look right, so I'm gonna go in the next building over. I'm gonna kind of lock down in there, maybe be with more people. So it doesn't just apply to the active shooter incident. It applies to every situational awareness.
You're walking to your car at night in the parking lot, right?
Yeah,
those things.
You're pushing your groceries out to your car as a woman.
There's a van right next to your car, right?
Go inside, wait 5 minutes, see what it does, right?
Yeah.
Verify what that car is doing before you decide to just walk up there.
Well, anybody that spends their career protecting others or teaching them to protect themselves is a stud in my book.
Well,
and obviously there are some bad apples, just like there's some clowns in the real estate world, but I had a really cool experience. So I want to talk about this for a minute. Okay. So Jamie invited me to go to one of the trainings basically for the police officers in one of the local PDs. And that was eye-opening. It was so awesome. So basically there were several scenarios that the police officers were going through to get tested. And it was so fascinating for me to see, what they were trained to do and what they're supposed to do versus what they ended up doing due to different variables. So one was a Uvalde situation. There's a very well-known, respected police officer already on the scene, so now they're coming in, don't know what's going on, and he's telling them something, and then there's a trigger, there's a, what's the word?
Stimulus?
Stimulus. And now they're like, oh crap, this is my training, this is what I'm supposed to do, but he's telling me something else, and he's my superior or something. And it was so cool to see that. And so I want to share that because my respect for police officers went up immensely because of what you have to deal with in those situations. And you're still running towards the threat. You're not running away, you can't, right? Or you shouldn't be.
Yep.
And I learned so much just from a civilian standpoint. In fact, one point, the guy I was following, he turned to me, he goes, hey, as a civilian carrier, could you handle this? And I'm like, I definitely could a lot more now. So I'm super excited to go through your training for civilians. Like there's so much need for this. And whether you're in a real estate office, you're at an open house, you're at a school, you're a teacher, you're in your own home, I love it. So
yeah, you talk about all those different places, and it makes me think of the actual first active shooter incident that I went on. It was in 2015. A guy shows up to a hotel room, kicks in the door to the hotel room, pulls out a gun. There's 3 people inside, shoots and kills one, turns the gun on the other 2 and shoots them. They end up surviving, but his violence didn't stop there. He left there and went across the street to a fast food restaurant. Went inside the fast food restaurant, kicks open the door and points the gun at the kid behind the counter, a teenage kid behind the counter, and said, give me your keys to your car. And the kid didn't know what to do. Shot him twice.
Wow.
Oh my God.
He then turns around and goes into the next parking lot, which was a school parking lot. Running toward the school with a gun, already shot multiple people, goes into the school parking lot. A teacher doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know the violence that just happened right around the corner, is pulling into his parking spot. He rips the door open, says, give me your car, throws the teacher out of the car and takes off. So now, as officers are responding to the original, now 3 crime scenes, right? We don't know where the suspect is. The call starts to come out to us, hey, active shooter in our downtown area. So we immediately start going there as fast as we can. But like I said before, by the time we get there, the violence is already over. A few minutes later, we get another 911 call from a guy. Hey, some guy just kicked in the door to my own apartment and shot me. He drove 2 miles away, wrecked out his car, pulls out a gun, kicks in the door of the guy's apartment, says, give me your keys. The guy doesn't know what to do. He shoots him multiple times. He then runs out of the complex to another complex towards a janitor, a maintenance worker that was there. And for no reason, just start shooting that guy.
Good gravy.
Right? So now we have crime scenes all over the place. And the guy ends up going to another apartment, kicks in the door, and it was a vacant apartment. And he stayed there. And it was several hours later that me and my team found him hiding in that apartment. But I think why that story is so interesting is because it doesn't matter if you're at a hotel room, a restaurant, a parking lot,
A janitor.
your own home, right? Out in the open out in the middle of a courtyard of an apartment complex. Violence can happen anywhere, and at that call, it happened in the same process, right? So how do you prepare yourself now, no matter where you're at, to respond to violence when it does happen? So
That's so interesting. Sorry.
What a good story. Like that opens my eyes right there.
Yeah.
Of the threats, the
Of
dangers.
just all the possible, threats.
Well, I always think about, because it's so sad, but you think about like public spaces, like movie theaters, concerts, because unfortunately that's just becoming more and more common. And it's like, how do you combat that? And I don't know what the saying is, but something about the effect of like a good guy with a gun is like what, right? And so I did get my concealed carry license, but I don't use it because I'm not comfortable with it, right? So it's like, okay, I need to get more comfortable with it in the event, because I don't know how else you stop something like that, right?
And that's an interesting conversation too to have, because what do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
What do I do? If I'm by myself, I know what I'm going to go do, right? But what if now I have my kids and my wife, right? And then that kind of changes the situation, because now what's my priority? It's them. So do I just leave them and go get the bad guy, or now is that gun to protect them as we exit?
Because you don't know if he's the only one. Right.
So when people are like, oh yeah, I'll carry my gun and I'll eliminate the threat, I'm like, cool, I would too, but I tell law enforcement, your situation dictates what tactics you do, right? Now the situation changed, now I have my family, I may not be going after that guy.
I mean, one of the scenarios was they were coming into the school and there's a hallway of dead bodies and blood everywhere. Where do you go? Because you don't know if the shooter came this way or if he went that way, and how many there are, right? So you just have to go until you hear the stimulus, and then you can identify where. It's crazy. So it really opened my eyes, and that's even further. Like when your family's there and you're not on SWAT, like what do you do?
That brings me to another point and kind of relates to that scenario, because I've heard this more and more too, that these crimes are taking place in broad daylight and people are just walking by and not doing anything.
Yeah. Just
Which,
videotaping it.
Kills me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like what do you do? And I know a lot of, I don't want to get involved, or maybe it's not what I think or whatever, but if good people would speak up, like so much of this stuff could be prevented.
Yeah, if people would speak up when they see the violence happening, right? Instead of videotape it, call the police, right? Or go assist that person. Because like you said before, that girl just fought and screamed and yelled. These people don't like to be confronted. So now if you have 2 or 3 or 4 people confronting the bad guy, they're less likely to continue to do what they're doing.
Right, right.
So yeah, I see those videos and I get frustrated, because it's like, just go help. Just go push the guy away. Just go be a presence there to make him be like, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm going to get caught.
You know, it's a weird example of that is in nature, you have a lion attacking a water buffalo, and all the other buffaloes are standing there not knowing what to do. If they would just go bum rush this thing, he would be gone, right? Yeah. But they're afraid. Yeah,
when I talk about the respond with violence portion, I talk about swarming. If you get 2, 3, 4 people ganging up on a bad guy, they're not going to be able to stop them. And I have some really cool videos of actually teenage girls standing behind a door as a bad guy came. And as he came in, one girl went high, one girl went low, take that dude down, and then the rest of the group piled on top.
I love it.
And that's, if we work together in society, a lot of these things can be prevented.
I think of it's a bad example, but the 9/11, guys, it was like a bunch of guys that took him down, and that just happened again recently. And I was telling the girls, I'm like, if that guy was on my plane and Ray, my husband was there, I'd be like, Ray, go do something. If he wasn't there, then I would. Like, I could not just not do anything.
Well, I think it goes back to what our society has now become. Like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to get involved in anything. But when people are getting hurt, or when you can prevent violence from happening,
or like something worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we were joking about this, but I legit do this. Anytime I go to, in fact, I was telling my 18-year-old this when we were just flying last month. Anytime when we're in a terminal, I'm just kind of observing and looking around for 2 things. The first one is, who is likely to hijack this plane when we get on it? And then who's going to help me take them out? And I joke about it, but I'm legit doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I do the same thing.
And you got to be careful with the stereotype, right? But what are the anomalies? Like, what stands out? Right, if it's 110 degrees and somebody's got a trench coat on.
Somebody's wearing a hoodie with their hands in their pocket and holding them weird. Like, that's not normal.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot when I'm teaching situational awareness type stuff. Like, what's your baseline? When you're going to Walmart, what the majority of, some of the people in Walmart are looking a little weird anyway. But you know what the baseline is, right? But then you start seeing this person kind of peeking around, kind of following different people. That's an anomaly. That's what you start paying attention to. So look for those anomalies and then figure out how you're going to avoid it. Because the best way to combat violence is to just avoid it in general. If I can see it on the front end, I can see those pre-event indicators on the front end and put myself in a better position, then I can avoid a lot of the danger that could come to me.
And this even extends to teaching your kids, fighting is not usually a good thing, right? Nobody really wins, but there may be times when you have to. And it may not be an adult, it may be another kid that just will not leave you alone. So what will you do, right?
Yeah. And
so I'm curious to know, and we can talk about this later. So we can talk about this all day. Like what are some rules in your house, and how do you teach your kids?
My kids know that if someone's getting picked on or someone's getting bullied, like, go stand up for that kid. Go protect that kid.
The sheepdog.
Be the guy that's not on his phone. Go help that kid out, right? And not necessarily looking for a fight, but looking to protect and help. And if someone's picking on you, try to avoid it. Do what you can to avoid it. Go talk to a teacher. And we actually had this situation with one of my sons. And talked to the teacher, and they didn't do anything about it. And he's like, Dad, what do I do? I said, well, if you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself. And he did. And I was proud of him. And the school didn't like it too much, but we went out to dinner that night.
Heck yeah.
Totally. I want to throw a little scenario at you. And this has like a little backstory because this is a real example. I had a client that I won't give away any details, but she had gone to jail and got out and was threatening me. And she had, obviously my office location is public and all of that, and her mugshot was very scary looking, and I was very afraid. And I have an assistant that works right by the front door. Like, what do we do?
It's tough, right? Because you can't.
Valor Protection training.
You go through some of my training. Learn how to do it. My wife actually teaches the self-defense classes for us, right? So we learn some of those things.
I'm Alexa, I'm gonna sign you up.
Because learning self-defense from another woman is a lot different than me teaching it, right? Because I don't really fear somebody attacking me.
Especially them pulling your hair, right?
Yeah, they're not going to pull on my hair anytime. But yeah, I guess it goes back to preparing on the front end. Having a discussion, okay, this person could come in here. If they do, what are we going to do? Do we have, I just went and did a presentation at a beauty salon, right? They all now have a code word. And whenever they see somebody that comes in, because that happens every once in a while, somebody that comes in that doesn't look quite right, they're all now paying attention to it, and they're like, they say the code word, and now everybody is on high alert. Now everybody kind of keeps doing what you're doing, but now let's pay attention a little bit more, right? And if we need to start moving some people slowly to the back without being very overt about it, we can start now reposition ourselves and putting ourselves in a better position.
I love it.
Than if we would just all be oblivious. So I think in that case, making sure that everybody's on the same page, you know who it is, know what to look for, and then start coming up with not a plan, but a few different plans, because the situation may change. So what do we do if it does?
I love that. That's good tips. So I think it'd be good to kind of summarize really quick, like just some really helpful things that you've said throughout our conversation, so that anybody listening can kind of take that and say, okay, this is like tangible. And I think your Valor is like the perfect summary. So can you hit those points again real quick for us?
Yeah. First is verify the threat. Verify what is actually happening, whether it's an active shooter incident or whether you're walking through a parking lot. Pay attention to your surroundings. Look for avenues of escape. Have a plan as you're moving through those things. And then just overall, verify what's actually going to hurt you and where it's coming from. And then avoid it at all costs. And then avoid the danger. Like, whether you go out a window, you go out a front door, whether you go through a wall in an active shooter incident, you're avoiding the danger, you're getting out. Whether you're walking through a parking lot, whether you're shopping at the mall and something doesn't look right, instead of going directly the direction you were going, avoid it. Go somewhere else, right? Lockdown and barricade. If you can't run, or if you have run to a certain point, now put yourself in a position where you're putting barriers in between you and the bad guy, right? If you're out in a parking lot, okay, I'm gonna move a couple rows over and put some cars in between me. And that's a form of that lockdown and barricade, because I'm putting barriers in between me and the bad guy. If I am in an incident where I have to lock down, what in the room can I push in front of the door? Push as much as you can, because the longer it takes for that person to get to you, the less likely they are to get to you, and they're going to move on to something else. Observe and report, pay attention, and then document it, and then tell law enforcement what's going on. This person isn't making me feel right as I'm walking through the parking lot. This person doesn't make me feel right as I'm moving through the wall. I would rather my family call on
Yeah.
something like that than not,
Yeah.
right? As a police officer, I'll go respond to that. I'll go make sure everything's good, and then I'll bounce,
Yep.
right? But be as descriptive as you can, so as law enforcement officers arrive, we know exactly what we're looking for. It doesn't take long to find it, and we understand what we're getting into as we get there. And then respond with violence. Like I said before, if violence is the answer, it's the only answer.
Yeah.
It's either you or that person. And if it's me going home to see my family at night, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that happens.
For sure.
Right? And so use whatever you can as a weapon, whether it's your car keys, whether it is a water bottle, whether it is a chair. Find something to defend yourself with and use it well.
Love it. Love it. Well, we like to end with a little speed round. Are you up for
Cool.
some rapid fire questions?
Sure.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Oh, geez. Gray.
Favorite drink?
Geez, I don't even think about these things. Horchata. I love horchata.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Favorite food?
Steak.
Oh, good meal.
That was an easy one.
Okay. Do you have a favorite sound?
A favorite sound? Probably my family being happy. Kids laughing.
We
That's
hear
a
that
good
one a
one.
lot. Yeah. What about a favorite movie?
Rocky was always my favorite movie growing
yes.
up.
Which one? The original?
That one and 4.
Okay, yeah, 4 was
Four
good.
is probably the best one.
Yeah, the Russian.
Do you have a favorite book?
I have lots of good books that I've read. I think one of the most recent ones was a book called When Violence is the Answer, It's the Only Answer. That was probably one of my more recent ones that I read by Tim Larkin. That was a really good book,
Okay.
focusing on violence and preparing for it.
When violence is the answer, it's the only answer. Okay.
Okay. Last but not least, do you have a favorite vacation?
So my wife and I go to La Jolla every year. Just the two of us, that's kind of our place. We just go, have all our favorite food places.
Love it.
So that's simple, easy.
I love it.
Just go there every year.
Yeah.
Simple, easy,
I
quick trip.
got one more. What's one non-negotiable in your life?
Probably communication. Right, I learned that through my divorce. Like, we have to communicate. We have to, and with me, my wife, with my kids, like, we have to communicate.
Love it.
So I think, and as a law enforcement officer, I have to communicate with my team. I have to communicate with the people I deal with. So communication would probably be
Good
that.
answer.
I love it.
Good one.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us and sharing. And I hope that someone listens to this and says, okay, I need to be more prepared or whatever. How can somebody reach you if they are thinking, I want to take a class or I want to bring this to my company?
They can look me up on valorthreatprotection.com. A couple social media pages, Valor Threat Protection on Instagram. And then I have Jamie Gissel, Valor, which I post a lot of my law enforcement stuff on that one. So they can find me those few ways.
Awesome. Thank you.
Get a hold of this guy.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.